Marriage between cousins in Canada. Things you need to know. Marriage is a union between two consenting adults, and in many countries, it is prohibited between close relatives. You cannot get married to your brother or sister, parent, or half-brother or sister. In the case of Canada, it applies to adopted and biological relatives for moral and physiological reasons. Regardless, there is a possibility of first cousins getting married in Canada. Marriage between relatives. Marriage between relatives is a criminal offense punishable with up to 5 years in prison. In Canada, however, marriage between cousins is not prosecuted under the same law. Canadian law enforcement only arrests those who broke the law by committing incest with close relatives. Also, the crime is easy to prosecute if a child was harmed, even if there was parental consent involved in the case. At the same time, this law does not apply to other related family members. In fact, under the Canadian Criminal Code, marriages between close relatives are still legal, like an aunt and nephew or niece and uncle. Marriage between first cousins. In the past, some provinces such as Alberta and Ontario had similar legislation against marriage between first cousins, but the laws were eventually repealed. As a result, no blood test is required to prove the partners are related. In Canada, marriage between two cousins is legal. Also, is only illegal if they are not directly related by blood. As per Canadian laws, if children in a marriage are under 18 years old and have been lawfully adopted by their parents, marriage between cousins is prohibited, but not illegal. Federal Marriage Prohibited Degrees, Act of 1990. According to this act, a first cousin couple must meet the following criteria to marry one another legally. Federal Marriage Prohibited Degrees, Act of 1990. According to this act, a first cousin couple must meet the following criteria to marry one another legally. They must be at least 25 years old. They must have completed high school or its equivalent. They must have resided in Canada for not less than 3 years. They should possess health insurance for both spouses for at least 12 months. It is worth knowing that this law does not stop them from getting married if they meet the above qualifications. Ethical concerns. Some critics of marriages between relatives claim marriages between relatives do not just entail physiological problems. They believe it has a negative impact on mental health. On the other hand, no current studies support this claim. The claims are more of theories than facts. According to the law of the land, marriage between relatives is illegal in Canada. However, there are several exceptions to this law. They include: incestuous marriages were once legal under Canadian common and statutory law, but the Criminal Law Amendment Act 1968-69 made incest a crime for the first time in 1969. In addition to criminalizing incest itself, under Section 155, this act prohibited marriage between first cousins. However, 2 years later, in 1971, the Criminal Law Amendment Act repealed Section 146 of the Criminal Code, which prohibited marriage by common law spouses. If you want more details, click the link below in the description box. For more information, visit canadabetter.com.